So I usually begin on my back, laying down on the floor. This only should take you about 5 minutes. Laying on your back, bringing your feet hip distance apart. You put your hands on the floor and you'll notice that there is a natural curve in your lumbar lower spine. So as you can see here, I can kind of fit my hand in my lower back. We're going to keep the natural curve as we lift the right leg up to the ceiling, and we're going to flex into the right foot. So starting with a foot stretch, we're going to point and flex the toe just a couple times, starting to get movement and mobility through the ankle. From there, we'll just do a couple circles to the right, nice and slow, feeling all the ankle joints kind of move and pull the muscle. And then we'll go back the other way. From here, we'll finish off with a point, and then you'll bend into the knee and pull that right knee all the way into the chest. From here, you straighten out your left leg on the floor, starting to stretch out your left hip flexor. Bring the left hand to the outside of the right knee and bring the right knee all the way over to the left side of the body as the right arm reaches out in line with the shoulder. And if it's available to you and it doesn't hurt your neck, you're going to gaze over to your right hand. From here, I'll take a nice deep inhale. On the exhale, you pull the belly button to the spine and get a nice big spinal twist. Do that a couple times until the right spine feels nice and long as you breathe into the right side ribs. Come back to your back, pull the right knee back into the chest, reach that right leg up to the ceiling, flex into the foot. And from here, you can either keep the leg straight or you can bend the knee and keep the left foot back on the ground, just depending on how tight your hamstrings are. From here, you just do some 10 leg swings, opening up the right hamstring, keeping that right foot nice and flexed. Okay, and once you've finished on the right side, you just make your way over to the left side. So a quick run through again. You lift up the left foot, you flex into the left foot, and start to get a really nice stretch already. As soon as you flex, you should feel your calf muscle stretch. You should feel the pull down through the hamstring of the back of the thigh. And then you'll flex and point that foot just a couple times. Once again, nice and slow, moving through all those different little tiny muscles. Okay, if you do it really fast, you're not really getting the true benefits of the stretch. So same thing, a couple circles one way, and then the other way. From here, pointing the toe, bring the knee into the chest, give yourself a nice big squeeze as you straighten the right leg out down to the floor. Right hand on the outside of the left knee as you spinal twist over to the other side. So left knee comes over to the right side of the body as the left arm reaches out in line with the shoulder, palm facing the floor. From here, you'll notice the hips should be stacked on top of each other. It's okay if the knee doesn't touch, and it's okay if the shoulder doesn't touch. Essentially, we're wringing out the spine. Inhale deeply into the chest and into the side ribs. On the exhale, pull belly to spine and twist further. Repeat 3 to 4 times. Come all the way back to your back. Pull the left knee into the chest. Reach the leg up to the ceiling, flex the foot, and once again, I'll show you now with the right foot down on the floor. If you've got open hamstrings, this works well as well. 10 leg swings on the left side. Once you're finished 10 leg swings on the left side, you bend into both knees, bring them as wide as a mat, and you just drop your knees from right to left. As you bring your head, gaze the opposite way of the knees. Do this a few times, just kind of rinsing out the pelvis. Come back to center. From here, pull the knees into the chest. Grab your shins with the forearms, tuck the chin, and try and bring your nose or your forehead to your knees. Really rounding through the spine, perhaps the tail lift off the floor, and the shoulders and the back of the head are off the floor. From here, give yourself a little momentum and try and roll forward and back, trying to get every single vertebrae to touch the floor as it makes contact with it. After about 5 rolls, you'll sit yourself all the way up and you'll come to a tabletop position. From your tabletop position, you want to make sure your hands are underneath the shoulders and the knees are underneath the hips. From here, we'll start with 5 cat and cow. So you inhale as you lift the tail, let the belly sink to the floor, the chest opens up and you gaze to the ceiling. On the exhale, the tail tucks first. Pull the belly to the spine, push the hands into the floor, tuck the chin and look to the belly, cat back. So once again, segmentally rolling through the spine here. So inhale, I watch my pelvis move. As my belly dips, my chest sinks through the biceps, and I inhale as I gaze up to the ceiling. On the exhale, I start with the tail only, tuck the tail, pull belly to spine, push the hands round through the upper back, tuck the chin, look to the belly. So inhale, exhale. From here, you'll come back to center, bring the knees as wide as the mat, big toes touch, push your bum down to your heels, reach your arms forward, keep them active so elbows lift off the floor, tuck the chin, bring the forehead down, and use your hands to push your bum down to your heels. And give yourself 3 deep breaths in child's pose as you breathe right into your lower back. So this is a great way to kind of just open up the spine, open up the back end of the body. And then after this, I like to do a little bit of core. So the reason why I like to do a little bit of core in the morning is that core is actually intrinsically connected to your self-confidence, to your self-esteem. So it's a really great way to give yourself that little pep and confidence booster first thing in the morning before you start your day. So my favorite core exercise in the morning, especially just as the body is waking up, is something that I call dead bug. So you kind of look like a dead bug. So you'll come back again onto your back. And this time you essentially look like you're in tabletop, but backwards, with your back on the floor, and then your hands and your feet above you. So remember at the beginning, I was telling you I have this natural curve in my lumbar spine. Well, as we go into dead bug, I want to get rid of the curve. So the best way to do that is by pushing the lower back down to the floor as I tilt the pubic bone up towards my chin. From here, I pull my belly button into my spine, and then I lift my knees so that they're directly stacked over my hips, and I have a 90-degree angle behind my knees. From here, I can flex into my feet. I reach my arms up to the ceiling in line with the shoulders, palm facing each other. As you can see here, tabletop position. From this position, you might start to feel the core engage already, just from having the legs lifted. So you can hold this for about 10 seconds, but really think about pushing that lower back into the floor and pulling the belly button to the spine the whole time. The closer the knees come to the chest, the easier this is gonna be, and you're not really gonna feel anything in the core. The further the legs go away from the chest and the hips, the harder this is gonna be on the core because the legs are heavy, and the core is gonna have to work to keep the legs lifted off the floor. So make sure you're really pushing the lower back down. Now from here, this dead bug position, you can start to release one heel to the floor at a time. So once again, making that lever a little bit heavier, getting your core to work a little bit harder. Now the key is here, guys, we're not bending into the knees and touching the foot. We're actually just hinging from the hip and letting the heel touch the floor. So I do about 10 of these, nice and slow. Inhale down, exhale up. Then from there, as my ankles start to get tired from the hard flexing, I begin to point my toes. And I start with my upper body. So I inhale as I reach the backs of my hands to the floor, as I keep pushing that lower back down. And then I exhale, I tap into my knees. Inhale back, exhale, forward tap. And I do this about 10 times. After this one, you're gonna reach the arms back to the ceiling, and if it's available to you, you're gonna start to tap both feet on the floor at the same time as you keep your lower back on the floor and just come back up to 90-degree angle. So you can do about 5 to 10 of these as you keep pushing that lower back down. And once again, by now your core, you should really be feeling it. You might start shaking, it's totally fine, it's actually good. So once you're finished, your dead bugs, double feet, you're gonna reach those legs up to the ceiling, flex into those feet again, and point your toes and pull them down to your face. Now we're gonna work some of our upper abdominals. So from here, instead of tucking my chin and using my neck, I'm actually just gonna lift and reach for the ceiling as I lift the back of my head and my shoulders and my shoulder blades off the floor. Then I inhale, come down, exhale, lift and reach for the ceiling. So I do this for another 10 times. And then after this, I inhale, reach my arms back, I point my toes, keeping the lower back on the floor, pulling the belly to spine as slow as I can. I bring my legs all the way down to the floor. From here, I release, take an inhale, give myself a big stretch for all that work I just did in my belly, and exhale all the air out. So you rinse it all out by bending your knees, bringing the feet to the floor as wide as the mat, and once again, rocking those knees from right to left.